Next up is Jonathan.
Jonathan.
And he's going to talk about talking to routers using large language models. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan. Currently, I'm studying in Olo University, but before that, I've been working in as a network engineer in an ISP for a few years. And this is what I wanted. So there were lots of devices. The place I used to work, nearly 100. So if there is a problem, I wanted a single point to ask, okay, where is the problem? Point me to the problem. So I can find, like, I can go there easily. I can just sign into that router, check out that specific problem. So I want to ask the network, like, hey, where is my problem? And the LLM will SSH or go into my network and like see what's going on, what's wrong, and tell me in a summarized form. So this is how I thought the workflow would look like. The user will ask a question, and since the router cannot be accessed directly through LLM, it needs a middleware. So middleware will be the middle glue for the whole system. User will interact with the middleware. The middleware will send the human request to the LLM, and LLM will return the command for the router, and the middleware will again send the command to the router, and router will give the feedback, and user will see it. For this, the softwares I used, I don't have physical access to the physical hardware, so I used Container Lab, and SR Linux was the easiest to run on the Container Lab. I used Ollama to run DeepSeek, and for my GPU limitation, I could only go to DeepSeek 7 billion parameters, which is actually not enough for this scenario. We actually need bigger models. And Open Web UI to interact with the DeepSeek graphically, but it's optional. And the middleware is written in Python. It's not that difficult. If you go through it, you can, like, it's not that difficult to understand. And this is my hardware spec I used for the system. I ran both the DeepSeek and the Container Lab at the same time in this computer. So the steps, set up 2 routers in Container Lab and make sure they're SSHable, and set up Ollama and DeepSeek, and make a middleware that can both communicate with the LLM via API and can SSH to the routers. Challenge, I'm not a coder. I understand code sometimes when I read it, but I'm really bad at it. So I did vibe coding with the help of AI. Second problem, the model I used, DeepSeek 7B, it's a general model. It's not for coding or something like that. And also it's only 7 billion parameter. So it was very dumb. So later I opted for Gemini 2, the free version. It's hosted in the cloud and it's smart. It does everything very fast. But it has its own problem. I'll go into that later. Biggest problem I faced was when the LLM returned, it didn't return properly, and the middleware, it's dumb, right? So when the middleware sends the command to the router, it doesn't know what to check and what is the command. So the LLM has to send the exact command to the middleware, then the system will work properly. So moving to Gemini 2 actually helped a lot for that. And third thing is giving the context. So I'm working with SR Linux. I have to tell the model, okay, I'm working with this. There are example commands. Give me a command like this. And most of the time, the LLM doesn't know the router commands. So what I did, I looked for all the PDFs I could find online. I uploaded those to Copilot, ChatGPT, and told them that I want to train an AI with this information. Generate me a text file. They gave me a text file that I supplied with the query every time as a context, and then Gemini 2 worked fine. Okay, this is the result. I'm not sure if you can see it. So the question I asked, show me the BGP neighbors. And then I press the command, and it will show which router it connected to. So there are only 2 routers. I can select it from the drop-down. But it's just a basic thing. And it will show the generated command. So this middleware will connect to the Gemini 2, and Gemini 2 will get my query and also the context, and they will generate the command exactly, show network instance default protocol BGP neighbor. And this is the output with that command. And at the same time, when this is going on the background, this is what going on the middleware, in the server side. So it's just like the workflow I showed in the chart. It is just that step by step. So it requests at the beginning, then prompt is generated by the LLM, and the middleware checks it's received the prompt, then it tries to log into the router and then tries to execute the command. And this is the same example, but with CLI. The first example I showed, that is like a web front end. That is actually not necessary. You can query directly through the CLI. It's just a curl command. And I asked there which interface. The question is which interface is up, and you can see the generated command. I don't see it. I don't think here is the generated. They don't show the command here. Sorry. Command. Oh yeah, command. Show interface. Yeah, thank you. Of what I learned. Okay, Vibe coding is okay for prototyping, but it's not gonna take you very far. And for prototyping, this Gemini 2 is fine, but for production, Gemini 2 will not be enough. One of the reasons is security. If you ask about your own devices to a cloud, you don't know where it's hosted. A third-party company is holding all the data. It's not safe. So the way to go is you have to go local, but you need powerful hardwares. And when you host locally, there are other advantages. You can tune it very specifically to your own network. You know what kind of devices you have. You have Nokia devices or Juniper devices. Which specific model, maybe the commands are a little bit different. You can tune for exactly like that. And when you host locally, you have the history, and the model has memory. It knows your topology. It knows the history, what has been done to the network. Problem with the Gemini 2 is every command is its own thing. You have to give it context every time. It doesn't remember anything. So every new question is a new thing. It doesn't remember anything from before. Problem is it will require hardware like GPUs. I think it will be not that expensive if you fine-tune it. I don't think you will need to run a full model, like a 6 billion parameter model, but probably maybe not 7 billion, a little bit more than 7 million. And giving context is key. You have to train, you have to supply it the commands with examples, all the commands. It gets much easier if you do that. Even the big models like Gemini 2, they don't understand the routers or their commands very good if you don't give them the examples. And most of the tools, actually all the tools I used are free, both like free as in free beer and open source. So tools are ready to get us there. It's up to us to create this tool. And I do think this kind of tool can be a powerful tool for a network engineer, especially like when the network is really large. And it can be a single point. You ask a question about your network and it can at least generate some answer. And the next step for me is I want to loop between the router and the LLM. So I can ask it like two-step questions. Right now it's not possible. It's only gives one command and that's it. What I mean is if I ask like how many routes, for example, Cloudflare is giving me. Let's say I have a connection with Cloudflare. So it has to run two commands, right? First, it has to run a command to find the link, the neighbor, the BGP point-to-point. And then with that neighbor, I can filter out which routes I'm getting from that specific AS. So what it needs to do, the middleware needs to send the feedback from router to the LLM again, and LLM has to understand, okay, this is not exactly what the user wanted, so I need to ask another question to the router, and then I can give the feedback. I haven't reached there yet. And this is where I'm asking, like, your feedback. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's a usable product? Would you use it in your network ever, even if only for read-only access? It will be probably a disaster if you give it like a write access. Do you have any thoughts or concerns about this approach? And any feedback will be most welcome. And thank you for your attention. And whatever I did so far can be found in the GitHub. If you want to try out, test it out, just see how it is like. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Hello, Jaakko from routern.io. Have you considered using telemetry protocols such as DNMI instead of SSH?
No, I haven't. I haven't worked on that. I understand SSH, so I worked with SSH. I didn't consider other things for now, for the prototype.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be better.
What would be kind of a really interesting if you have a streaming telemetry database which holds like all the telemetry from the network, all devices, and then ask questions based on that. Same things as you did. But
that's also thing about like the local LLM. If I host it myself, I can store like the data, and the LLM can train on that data constantly. For the cloud-hosted LLM, I don't think that will be that easy or possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you very much, Jonathan. Big round of applause.